Blackwater Hill had always been a quiet place, a forgotten town with more empty houses than people, more stories than visitors, and more shadows than sunlight. When Leah arrived to document abandoned locations for her photography project, she thought the town would be nothing more than a backdrop. But Blackwater Hill was not empty, it was waiting. Leah parked her car near the old school building, its windows shattered, its roof sagging like a tired spine. The air felt heavy, thick with the scent of damp wood and rust. She lifted her camera and began taking photos, each click echoing unnaturally loud in the stillness. As she walked deeper into the town, she noticed something strange. Every time she took a picture, she heard a faint sound behind her, a soft tapping, a whisper, a shuffle. She turned each time, but the street remained empty. She reached the center of town, where a large building stood alone, the Blackwater Community Hall. Its doors were open, swaying gently even though there was no wind. Leah hesitated, then stepped inside. The hall was enormous, filled with rows of broken chairs and a stage covered in dust. But what caught her attention was the mural on the back wall, a painting of the town as it once was, full of life. Children playing, families smiling, lights glowing in every window. But the faces in the mural were wrong. Their eyes were black, their mouths were open in silent screams. Leah raised her camera. Click. The lights in the hall flickered. Click. A cold breeze brushed her neck. Click. A whisper echoed behind her. Leah. She froze. No one knew her name here. She turned slowly. The hall was empty, but the mural had changed. One of the painted figures now stood closer to the foreground, closer to her. Leah backed away from the mural, her heart pounding. She blinked hard, trying to convince herself she was imagining things. But when she looked again, the figure had moved even closer. Its black eyes seemed to stare directly at her. She ran out of the hall and into the street, gasping for air. The town felt different now. The silence was heavier, the shadows longer, the air colder. She checked her camera. Every photo she had taken showed something behind her. A shape, a silhouette, a figure standing just out of focus. She zoomed in. The figure had no face, just darkness. Leah felt a presence behind her and spun around, but again nothing was there. She hurried toward her car, but the road seemed longer than before, stretching unnaturally into the distance. The whisper returned. Leah. She stopped walking. The voice was closer now. Right behind her ear, she turned. A woman stood in the middle of the street. Pale skin, long black hair, eyes hollow and empty. Her clothes were old, torn, soaked as if she had walked out of a river. Leah stepped back. Who are you? The woman didn't answer. She lifted her hand and pointed toward the forest at the edge of town. Leah shook her head. I'm not going anywhere with you. The woman's mouth opened slowly, impossibly wide. A sound poured out, not a scream. A chorus of voices. Hundreds of them, crying, whispering, calling her name. Leah dropped her camera and ran. She didn't stop until she reached the forest. The trees towered above her, their branches twisting like skeletal fingers. She could still hear the voices behind her, growing louder, merging into one long, desperate echo. She stumbled into a clearing. In the center stood a well. Old, cracked, covered in moss. The whispering stopped. The forest fell silent. Leah approached the well slowly, drawn by something she couldn't explain. She peered inside. Darkness. Then a face appeared in the black water, her own. But smiling, she stepped back, trembling. The reflection whispered, "Come down." Leah turned to run, but the forest had changed. The path she came from was gone, replaced by dense trees and shifting shadows. The air grew colder, and the ground beneath her feet felt soft, almost like wet skin. The whispering returned, circling her from every direction. "Leah, you came back. We remember you." She covered her ears, but the voices grew louder, vibrating inside her skull. She fell to her knees, gasping for breath. A figure stepped out from behind a tree. It was the woman again, but now her face was different. It shifted, flickered, changing into different people. A child, an old man, a young girl, a teenager. Dozens of faces, all merging into one. Leah whispered, "What do you want from me?" The woman pointed at the well. Leah shook her head. "No, I'm not going down there." The woman stepped closer. Her eyes were empty, but her voice was full of sorrow. "You left us here." Leah froze. "What do you mean?" The woman's face shifted again, settling into the face of a young girl. A girl Leah recognized. Her childhood friend, Emily. Emily had disappeared in Blackwater Hill when Leah was 8 years old. Leah whispered, "No, you can't be." Emily reached out a hand. "You left me here." Leah stumbled backward. "I didn't know I was a child." Emily's voice grew louder. "You forgot us, you forgot me. but we never forgot you. The ground beneath Leah cracked open. Hands reached out from the soil, pale and cold, grabbing her ankles, pulling her toward the well. She screamed and tried to break free, but the hands tightened. Emily leaned close. Come home. Leah was dragged toward the well, her nails scraping the dirt, her voice lost in the forest's echo. The last thing she saw was her own reflection in the water. Smiling, the forest fell silent. Blackwater Hill waited, it always waited, and if someone walked close enough to the well, they would hear it. A whisper. The forest was silent after Leah vanished into the well. Not the natural silence of windless trees or distant birds, but a hollow, unnatural stillness that felt like the world itself was holding its breath. The shadows around the clearing thickened, settling like a curtain over the place where she had disappeared. Hours passed, maybe days. Time didn't behave normally in Blackwater Hill. Then footsteps echoed through the trees. A man emerged from the forest path, flashlight in hand, calling out her name. Leah, Leah, are you here? It was her brother Aaron. He had driven through the night after she failed to return his calls. He knew she had come to photograph the abandoned town, but he didn't know why she hadn't come back. He didn't know the town had been waiting for her. Aaron stepped into the clearing and froze when he saw the well. The stones were old, cracked, covered in moss, but something about it felt wrong. The air around it was colder, heavier, as if the well was breathing. He approached slowly. Leah? His voice echoed down into the darkness. For a moment there was nothing. Then he heard it, a faint whisper. Aaron? He stumbled backward. Leah? Leah, is that you? The whisper came again, clearer this time. Help me. Aaron leaned over the edge, shining his flashlight into the darkness. The beam didn't reach the bottom. It was swallowed by the blackness. He shouted again, Leah, talk to me! A soft splash echoed from below. Then a voice rose from the well. But it wasn't Leah's. It was a chorus of voices. Men, women, children, all speaking at once. Come down. Aaron staggered back, heart pounding. No, that's not her. The forest around him shifted. The trees creaked. The shadows moved. Something stepped out from behind the well. A girl barefoot. Pale, her dress soaked as if she had climbed out of water. Her hair hung over her face, dripping. Aaron whispered, Emily. He recognized her from Leah's childhood photos. The girl who had disappeared decades ago. Emily lifted her head slowly. Her eyes were black. Her voice was hollow. She's waiting for you. Aaron backed away. Where is she? What did you do to her? Emily pointed at the well. She's home now. Aaron shook his head. No, I'm getting her out. Emily stepped closer. Her movements were slow, unnatural, like a puppet pulled by invisible strings. You can't save her, but you can join her. Aaron turned and ran into the forest. Branches whipped his face, roots clawed at his feet. The trees seemed to shift around him, twisting into new shapes, blocking his path. Behind him, the voices followed. Aaron, come back. We remember you. He didn't stop running until he reached the edge of town. But Blackwater Hill had changed. The buildings were no longer abandoned. Lights glowed in the windows. Shadows moved behind the curtains. The air smelled of smoke and old wood, as if the town had come alive again. Aaron whispered, What is this? A figure stepped out of the community hall. It was Leah, but not the Leah he knew. Her eyes were empty, her skin pale, her smile wrong. She raised her hand and pointed at him. You left me once. Aaron shook his head. Leah, no, I'm here now. I'm here to take you home. Her smile widened. You are home. The town lights flickered. The shadows stretched toward him, and the voices whispered in unison.